avec ou même qui développe une relation intime, qui a la foi, qui a assurance dans mon Dieu, adorer l'Éternel pour ça que il fait. Ou mériter pour adorer, ou mériter pour glorifier. Non. So I am here again today, October 3rd, 2021. 10 months already gone. 9 months already gone. We are in the 10th month, and we can say that we are very grateful. I am very grateful for another day. The way life going right now, the day just sliding past right now. We can say we are very grateful. I am very grateful for each day that God gave me. Again, I'm not gonna waste any time. Pas perdre du temps. Moi pas perdre du temps. Moi pas perdre du temps. Nous pas perdre du temps. Nous a dit bon Dieu merci. Et pour chaque ou même qui déjà branché sous live là, ou même qui déjà branché sous live là, et partager live là ensemble avec amis ou famille ou, et dire branché sous live là après-midi là, nous dans l'air et même les nous arrivons en retard, brancher, partager et demander pour capable subscribe channel là, pour capable like Facebook page Facebook là, et comme ça pour nous capable continuer pour des plus belles contenus pour vous, plus belles informations sujet pour vous, et pour nous capable débattre ensemble chaque dimanche. Faire ça son façon capable motiver nous, son façon capable aider nous continuer, encourager nous continuer faire travail ça dans le nom de Jésus. Here we are again. Here we are again. I have Stacy with me. I have Maria with me. I was supposed to have another brand new face, another young lady, but unfortunately she could not be with us for the last live that I last subject actually that I had thought to have only women gather on this panel to talk about variety of stuff, giving our knowledge, our experience, motivate, encouraging each other to continue thriving in life. Today is it's a day that I could have been in bed crying, stressing out, but when I remember and think about God's grace, I decided to continue moving forward. Today is October 3rd, which is my mother who passed away this year, early this year. Today is her birthday, but I decided to rejoice because I know she is with God. I know that I love her, but God loves her more than I do, and I decided to not continue to let what happened, but to continue using the memories that I had created with her and moving forward. Pas perdre du temps, jeudi, let's go ahead. Today our topic is domestic violence, and for some of you who probably well knowledgeable or ever read about domestic violence or ever spend time to understand what domestic violence is. So today, actually the month of October is National Awareness for Domestic Violence as well as breast cancer. So mois octobre là, li dédié en tant que mois de national pour domestic violence. So on a choisi jeudi, premier dimanche, et parce que nous toujours décidé pour nous faire live yo every Sunday evening 6 p.m. So I decided today, first Sunday of the month to talk about domestic violence. So women and abuse. So today, here's the topic. The topic is abuse. What is abuse? How can we define abuse into our own understanding? What is the abuse in terms of what they describe abuse? And we're just gonna basically have a blended conversation about domestic violence, how this is impacting our life based on social or based on cultures, how it is affecting the church, what we hope to see more when it comes to education about abuse in the church. Again, welcome Stacy, welcome back, and welcome back Marie. Hi Stacy.
are you?
I am doing well. Hi,
Thank you.
Maurice.
Hi everybody, how you doing? Hi Stacy, hi
Hi,
Flossie.
Barry.
How you guys doing?
Bless, bless.
That's
We
good.
are we are doing well, but you look like you are well rested because your face is so fresh. Forgive my frais. You
Slay.
know, right,
Second language.
Stacy?
Mm, Glad I could do that. 'Cause, I'm in pain, but as long as we're leaving, hey, that's the best part of it.
Right.
Everything else doesn't even matter.
Right, definitely. As long we are living this day, every time when we live it, we wake up and see another day. We just gotta be thankful. We just gotta be
Yeah.
thankful.
Yeah.
Okay. Without wasting any time, let's get into our topic. And because we only have about 30 minutes to get in and talk about it. And by the way, we on this platform we talked about domestic violence before. You can always go back and watch the live that we done before on domestic violence. I believe about 6 8 months ago, on YouTube or Facebook. You can always just scroll down, and then you can find um, I believe about three different lives that we talk about domestic violence in general, and also about physical um, physical abuse and also emotional abuse. So capable retourner pour aller chercher pour garder sous ta vle ouais the basic côté nous te parlé de domestic violence déjà, nous te parlé déjà dans live que nous te fait qui est capable de 6 mois à 8 mois de c'est là pas même un an même ou capable retourner back dans page YouTube là ou bien Facebook pour capable garder um, pour capable ouais ça qui domestic violence là et qui sont capable définir domestic violence. Let's start with you, Stacy. How do you define domestic violence in your
Um,
own thought, in your own understanding? Comment capable de domestic violence y?
so basically, to me, domestic violence, c'est un moun ki nan relasyon, moun nan ka abize lot moun nan. Sometimes it could be the women abusing the man or the man. It could be either way. It could be physically, it could be mentally, it could be so many different ways for somebody to get abused domestically. So it's not only just hitting, and sometimes we always think that it's always the man that's always hitting the women. That's one part of domestic abuse, but domestic abuse is a large spectrum. It's different things.
What about you, Marie?
Um, to go back with what Stacy said, I agree. It is a lot of different ways of getting abused. It could be mentally, once like she said, and it could be physically. And then we don't. It's like a lot of time we talk about how the woman getting abused, but we never also think about how they also abusing the men as well with their mouth, with the way they talk, or the things they say. Because there's a lot of that out there. So there's a lot of ways of getting abused mentally, physically, emotionally. It's a lot of abuse that that we have out here.
Right, right. I agree with both of you. When we talk about domestic violence, when we see domestic violence, we always think about women only, but also men do um, violated as well as women. But it just the difference is women more open to talk about it and seek help,
Hmm.
but men does not. So I agree with you too. By the way, before we move forward, I want to let you all know, the audience, that the live brought to you by Centralfen, Central Family Enrichment Network. Again, Centralfen, as you can see on your screen, this live brought to you by Central Fin. You can always um, look for us at www.centralfin.org on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. What else? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I believe LinkedIn as well. So Central Fin is here to assist and provide the basic need to those that are in need. And
Hmm.
some of the programs Central Fin provide is domestic violence, human trafficking, substance abuse, case management, providing resources to different services that are in the community that you might not aware of, but if you are in need of service, that type of service, or you know someone that can benefit from those services, reaching out to us, even if we don't have the resources, but we will ensure that you receive the service in the community. So again, you can search for Centralfen, www.centralfen.org. Visit the website, or on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's Central FEAN. Again, so this live brought to you by Central Family Enrichment Network, as you can see on your screen. Okay, so the way that they defined domestic violence, genre yo définir qui ça qui domestic violence avant que nous rentrions plus fond, avant que we get further into our conversation. Yo fait nous connaître que domestic violence c'est nous capable définir comme une habitude ou bien une habitude de comportement dans n'importe de relation. Et nous pas obligé vraiment voir dans une relation intime de fille à garçon pour abuser. Li capable yon coworker, li capable parent, li capable petite, li capable dans l'église, member to member abusing each other. Li capable yon membre capable abuser yon pasteur, ou pasteur cap utiliser pouvoir pour capable abuser membre yo, ou bien capable manipuler yon dans sens psychologie, parce que nous yo définir et domestic violence comme ça, mais il y a des catégories qui placées dans domestic violence. So, en général, domestic violence est défini comme une habitude. It's defined as a pattern of behavior in any type of relationship that is used, gain or maintain power and control over intimate partner. Abuse can be physical, sexual, emotional, economy, or psychological action or threat of action that influence another person. So ça veut dire domestic violence lui-même, ça qui est les domestic violence là, li définit par un comportement, une action, une habitude de comportement dans n'importe relation côté moun nan utiliser ou bien kembe yon pouvoir pour capable contrôler yon l'autre moun. Abus ça li capable manifester en tant que physique, li capable manifester en tant que sexuel, li capable manifester en tant que émotionnel, économiquement ou bien psychologiquement. Et de fois moun sa capable prendre action côté que li a threat moun sa pour capable influencer moun non bien faire moun en paix et puis vinn intimider moun non et côté qu'on y a là, li vinn gen pouvoir ça pour capable continuer à prouver moun ça. Et this include any behavior qui capable venir avec intimidation. Côté moun nan a terroriser moun nan, la manipuler moun nan, la dit des mots qui pour hurt moun nan, la humilier moun nan, la blâme moun nan. Li gen côté que s'il manifeste si yon abus qui manifeste physique, côté capable web des blessures dans corps moun ça, et domestic violence capable dire que li ka arriver n'importe qui. Li pa gen classe sociale pour li pa gen classe intellectuelle pour li capable affecter n'importe monde. So domestic violence can happen to anyone. Doesn't matter qui l'âge ou qui race ou qui sexuelle orientation ou qui classe économie ou qui statut immigration ou religion ou comprendre, li capable affecter n'importe monde. So li capable affecter yon monde qui single, li capable affecter yon monde qui en couple, li capable affecter yon monde qui vivent entre deux monde qui vivent entre eux même qui when they shack, what was they shacking up. So it doesn't matter. So capable affecter moun sa. So domestic violence affecting all social economic background. So domestic violence même li affecter toute qualité de socio-économique background ou bien éducation niveau yon moun. So c'est comme ça que yo déterminé, yo défini que ça qui domestic violence là. Mais comment, how, Stacy, Yo définir comme ça, comment comprendre comment culture, we are Haitian, culture, our culture. How do you understand our culture? And I want Marie to elaborate on that as well. How do you understand or how can you make sense how our culture play a part when it's come to domestic violence? Because I saw a lot of people or video or even people that's well recognized or public figure in our community, they get abused and you see other women standing against them because of the culture, because of lack of the education. How do you understand? How can you make sense to the people that's out watching out? I mean, the live right now.
So like you said, it is a lack of education, especially in our Haitian community. When it comes to education on a lot of stuff, our Haitian people were so behind. And just like I know some Haitian men, they love saying this. They'll be like, "Soute Haïti, n'ta bon flamba baton," but
Right,
si you baka won't
That's
flamba
it.
baton. They
right.
love saying that. What is that? Because they know that in Haiti, there's no principle, there's no
Mm-hmm.
law against that. They can do what they want to do, and then again, that goes back in the old days, even the time in the Bible where the women are always seen less than. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like everyone is evolving. America, we're in a country that praise God that they evolved. If you do put your hands on a woman, you can go to prison. If you do put your hand on a woman, you can get deported. That alone will get you deported. So you see the importance. They see the importance of that, but Haiti has not evolved. Our culture has not evolved. So we do need advocate like yourself in our community to advocate about this. They need to be educated about it. Don't do it because you don't want to get deported, but do it because you have to respect the person. The person needs to be respected. You cannot just physically abuse the person or mentally. Let me tell you, Haitians fundamentally abuse. I
Uji,
hear double
Haitian
myself.
qui ça? Uji qui ça?
Oh, Haitians move far.
Nous,
And then sometimes
nous
the
fort
sad part
dans
about it,
abuser?
you abuse them until you're probably going to no? You're probably
Hey,
going to
Yeah,
You're
I mean,
probably going
you
to
said you said it. Your
yeah.
I think your pas rendre compte qu'il y a pas besoin au monde, c'est parce que
Well,
it's the way we were
The
brought. It's
culture.
the culture, right? Don't you
Jean
think?
Olivia, Jean Olivia too. Don't kill your maybe part for sure because the way they was raised themselves. So it's like
Yeah.
they don't know how to do the same thing to their kids. Like they just pass along what they was teach or how they
Yeah.
was treated. So now it's like they it's like even when we evolve, now we're living in this generation. It's like they still living in that old generation because they feel like
Right.
that's the right way. That's how it's supposed to be. But a lot of them don't understand that they hurting their kids also. They hurting like a lot of people that's around them because you need to also move evolve with the new ways, the new generation. You need to understand what's going on. Like they mentally abuse you by saying, oh, you're not supposed to respond, you're not supposed to say how you feel, you're not supposed to like communicate. It's
Mm-hmm.
like if they tell you something, they say jump. Whether when they're telling you to jump is wrong, you can't tell them, listen, if I
Mm-hmm.
jump there, I'm going to fall, I'm going to
Right,
break a leg.
right.
You just
Yeah.
gotta jump. Whether you hurt, whether you don't hurt, they don't need to know. Understand. That's the one thing about Haitian, us Haitian. The how we the our parents, all them is like that's the main thing that I wish we could get to the bottom of that because they need to understand that at the end of the day,
But
yes,
what can
you
we
are a
do? What
parent,
can?
but at
But
the
this
same
here's the
time,
thing. Here's the
the way
thing.
you speak to your kids too is also mentally abusing them.
Abusive. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Cause mkona pwe gede fa yo pa imagine que it's a abuse. And then sometimes it's hard for you to speak that language with them because they don't understand, they don't know that language.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know that language like, ok, m kompren ke jan wap pale an, se ou pa dwe pale kon sa, ou pa dwe kompote ou kon sa paske se yon ak de abuse liye. E sütou sou kontinye abitude lan, because mremen jan yo te kon sa ke domestic violence can be defined as a pattern. So if you have a pattern of screaming, that's abuse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you, okay, let's go back. In our culture, je nous leve, the way we raise, the way we train mentally. Est-ce qu'on dit là mentally, je mette dans l'esprit nous. nous prenons pas quelques exemples. We took a lot of example how the parent, they don't know, they were not educated. So now what can we do for us to move forward? It's educate ourselves, right? But
Mm-hmm.
but again, how do we do that? Le nap di la fe kon seri de moun ki wok la, tèt yo du. I'm talking about our community, the Haitian community. Tèt yo du.
I mean,
That's true.
that's really it's a difficult thing to do, to train your people that been living for so long the way they've been. It's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, like I said, it's just everything step by step, little by little, that we could eventually maybe not get to where we need them to be, but at least to have an understanding of what is happening.
Right.
It's not the same back then no more. It is a new generation. It is a new life. It is a new place. It is a different atmosphere. Let's start acting as if we're in a different. We might not get them to be 100, but if we start doing it ourselves with our own kids, maybe they'll start to see that's how. Let's see what we're doing different.
Yeah.
That's the best we could do, because it's already too late for them. Yeah. It's just too late.
Parce que thème violence lan, thème qui est domestique violence lan, dans culture nous toujours mettre dans tête nous dans l'idée nous que son moun qui bat yon moun. C'est le lever main ou bat moun nan, c'est ça qui domestique violence. Et li pas vraiment c'est ça qui est seulement domestique violence. C'est yon nan catégorie yo. Donc on nous dit nous gagnons physiquement et nous gagnons psychologiquement. Et yon nan pi gros et maladie qui gagne dans domestique violence dans culture noire, c'est psychologique là, parce que nous gagnons des femmes ou bien des garçons qui vraiment mal élevés ou bien qui vraiment mal éduqués ou bien qui vraiment autonomes, qui vraiment et comme tu as dit qui tonton macoute et vous sommes là qui vraiment tonton macoute. So les nap dit avec genre de moun sa yo ou bien nou wè genre de caractéristiques ou bien comportement sa yo nan moun sa yo, li vraiment mande que pour nous éduquer moun yo, c'est pas les moun lever main sou, mais les moun nan ap abiso psychologiquement. Li prend temps pour venir réaliser que c'est un abus lié, mais son abus lié. Parce que gen moun nan li même, si moun nan te lever main sou li, l'étape dit que, ok, on ne peut pas accepter lever mes sous moi. It's either son esprit qui manifeste dans la tête ou qui faut lever mes sous moi, m'a prié pour me retirer dans la tête ou mon Dieu retirer dans la tête ou bien qu'on y a la femme connaisse, est-ce que gon l'autre bagaille qui prend place qui t'a supposé là? Parce que ça fait me dire comme ça, parce que nous-mêmes dans la mentalité, nous en tant que haïtiens, tout ça nous ouais, nous toujours mettons diable là-dedans avant nous mettre mon Dieu là-dedans.
True.
We put Satan first. Every time we see something negative happen, we put the devil first. Although the devil always linked to every negative thing that happened. The devil does. But we have to understand, we have to intervene first before we just say jabla, 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 and leave it to the devil hand to destroy, you know, pour dégager, pour faire ravage, ok? But nous toujours mettons dans l'esprit nous that way it's the devil. Again, I'm gonna say it again. The devil linked to every negative thing. But for nous be careful, for nous porter en pile attention, gens que nous a considéré ou bien garder, gens de bagaille ça yo. But n'a gardé que si n'a prend un aspect cause et live ça, plateforme ça lui-même, li connecter là pour inspirer, pour engager et pour élever une génération qui vient. Et là, ça li connecter avec l'organisation Centralfen Enrichment. So nous là pour nous pas seulement éduquer socialement, but nous toujours make sure que la parole de Dieu c'est lui qui sent. It's the center of this platform. Dernière fois, it's about a year ago, quand je suis avec 2-3 leaders, pasteurs de l'église. Et moi t'as parlé de nous t'as fait un parcours nous t'as fait un parcours de HIV and AIDS. Nous t'as parlé de SIDA. Côté premier parcours qui t'est fait là, c'est Chita ensemble avec de professionnels médicaux. Et nous t'avons dit comment faire que we as women, when we go to our OBGYN, the doctor makes sure to test for everything, right? Or better yet, when we go to our primary care doctor, the doctor check everything when it comes to glucose, cholesterol, everything in our blood work. But except for sexual transmitted disease, right? Except for diagnosis that have to do with STDs or that have to do sexually. You have to ask the doctor for the doctor to do it. So we did a meetup, you know, with certain, you know, several of them. We talked about this. How can we implement that? How can we make a change into that? Puis ça docteur a demandé, l'on fait test, il fait toute qualité test ça, but il pas mettre structure là, il pas mettre. So we did the same thing with pastor leaders in our community. So one of the questions that I asked, why is it so hard for the leader to talk about HIV and AIDS? But it is the same thing for domestic violence. It's very rare for you to see a leader talk about domestic violence in our community and the church. I start with you, Stacy.
And it's true. It's very true when it comes to sexual transmitted disease and domestic violence. That's one of the two subjects that we do not hear about, and we need to hear about. We really need to hear about. And I feel like it's a part of the culture. Nobody likes to talk about that because it's such a humiliating thing, especially the HIV. And AIDS. It's something so humiliating to have. So, you know, when someone have that, there's a fear of, you know, you being set aside. You probably sit in a chair and nobody want to sit after you. So it's the culture thing. People are humiliated about it, and you're not going to want to bring it up because it's an uncomfortable topic. And when something's uncomfortable with us, what we tend to do, we tend to push it under the rug and ignore it like it's not here. But that is such a topic that is so sensitive and near and dear to me specifically. And I feel like it needs to be spoken about. Like, people need to be warned about it. It's real. Every day people are getting diagnosed with it. So that's something that definitely needs to be spoken about.
Right. Marie?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
God. Yes. I say I would go exactly with what Stacy said. Yeah, it's something that we do have to talk with. The pastors also should be able to talk to have where they have a place. You know, everything have its own time. You know, like they should have something like where a place or a time where they reach out to the youth or reach out to even the elders also, because you know a lot of the elders, especially in our culture, don't know a lot of things that's going on. They don't know about the domestic violence. They don't know about the disease that's going on out there. Even if they were to even and be in that position, they wouldn't know what's the next step, what to do. Is that something that we need to how can I go about it? How can I speak to someone? You understand what I'm saying? So we do have, it would be, if we could find a way to have the pastors or have the youth leaders or anybody to reach out to the especially our family or the Haitian side or Haitian community, if we was able to reach out to them more, that would be a lot. It would make a lot of difference, because when it comes to those things, their knowledge is very light of it, because they don't know what's going on.
They really don't. Haitian people have education.
Right, right. Because you see a lot of people in the church that stay in marriage for years been abused. It's either they don't know what the abuse is, and sometimes they even use the word abuse. Vous avez rencontré un monde qui dans l'âge de 60 and up pour commencer, because the m'kadi monde qui bas de l'âge 60, they're more aware of what domestic violence is.
Mm-hmm.
Et pas parce que moun qui l'âge 60 and up you don't, but they do. But when you look at people that's in church, age gap from 60s and up, it's very rare for them to understand what domestic violence is, and I agree with both of you. And a lot of times they use the word abuse. We know that they do ça, mais Maya pas d'abuser non, mais c'est fatigué moi, mais c'est pas aider non, but they use, but they don't know the term. They don't know the details of it. They don't know how to identify the triggers. They don't know how to identify the red flag. They don't know what those red flag means and what they should do. And I think it's our job, it's the leader job, it's our job as the professional. That's why I always advocate wherever I go, the leaders should always use the professionals that are in the church. Don't use them only for monetary gain, but use them for the knowledge that they have. They can assist you with the elderly, they can assist you with the youth, they can assist you with the church, develop things in the church, educate the church, because you know why? You cannot do the job by yourself, and that's why God allowed people to be around you that can assist you and move the kingdom of God, right? Because the kingdom of God is not just about praying. OK? Royaume bon Dieu pas juste de la prière. Royaume bon Dieu a gen pouvoir avec éduquer moun, gen pouvoir avec des structures qu'on mettait, des principales qu'on mettait, des disciplines qu'on mettait. Because on moun kap la prière sans discipline, non kap la prière sans éducation, sans former, et tant que c'est là, c'est tant que c'est prendre de l'eau dans pan et bambou. I don't know how you say pan and bamboo in anglais. Anybody know?
A bamboo basket. Same thing.
No, serious. Because a lot of times, that when you pray, if I know, because I'm in the field, I know people who go to the pastors and talk about the abuse they get in, and the pastors say pray. Yes, pray, but there have to be some type of education, intervention.
Right. And you know another thing too, sorry to interrupt, it's so many local to know les politiques. They don't want to get involved. Like c'est même qui bay mon conseil pour mon divorce. So right. Like especially Haitian people, you're toujours fait bagay ça.
You in the background.
On fait des dossiers. Parce que bah c'est parce que même bagay la venir parce que on va mettre chay la sou yo et puis to pas entrer dans dossier so yo pas connaître qui gens pour address the situation pour ça avait dit prier qui te bagay le même bon Dieu qui te bagay le même bon Dieu, but I feel like l'église c'est supposé go en classe d'enseignement c'est comme si l'église moi ma chère parce que moi dans tout dossier ça yo il montre qui gens pour vivre avec madame qui vivre avec mari il éduquer like
I'm glad that you brought
up. She tells you everything, and that's how all leaders are supposed to be. That's a topic that needs to be spoken about because it happens in our community, not even in our community, but the young people too. I recently had a brother that, you know, he domestic violence. Him and his girlfriend passed away. So this is something that's happened in the church, outside the church. Especially nowadays, and it's like if you watch the news carefully. Every time, every week, at least once a week, a boyfriend or a girlfriend kill their girlfriend or boyfriend and then kill themselves afterwards. It's always a murder suicide. So that means these topics needs to be spoken about, especially the HIV. People are scared to talk about it. People are scared to speak up because Haitian people will be humiliate them.
I'm not gonna have enough time to
go to a white church and say they got HIV and they'll be heroes. If you go to a Haitian church, forget about it. Forget about it.
That's the way they take
Forget about it.
Wait. What do you mean if you wait? Hold on, Marie. Before you elaborate your thought on this. What do you mean by if you go to Haitian church, forget about it? What do you mean by that?
Then they're gonna humiliate you. You go to Haitian church and you tell them that you have
HIV. You mean in terms of like the members of the church?
They're going to be afraid of you. Like, you know, it's like you're living, you know leprosy? Like back in the days in the Bible, you see how they treat people with leprosy in the Bible?
Right.
That's how Haitian people treat people with HIV. And that's because of lack of knowledge.
Right. Because c'est pas, yo toujours penser que moun prend HIV et c'est à travers
the air.
No, it's not the air. It's not the
air.
They know
it's
they know because you're where
you fait passe-partout.
Ou ta fait passe-partout, son moun kap marché couché avec moun, ou son moun qui te ap descendre, c'est dans ce sens ça regarder dans le sens que sous son moun qui gen HIV ou son moun qui vacabon, ou son DIS, c'est dans ce sens ça. Yeah, c'est dans ce sens ça. That's how they looked at it for real because of lack of the knowledge. But c'est pas gen moun qui gen HIV. I know there's a young boy, I guess was it Ryan White? He had a grid, a foundation. He funded HIV program. He got HIV through his mother because the mother was pregnant. I think that's what it is. I might be wrong, but I think that's what it is. So maman gouvante, maman fait avec tout HIV en ensemble. So what that kid got to do with something c'est little chéchel. Now you're gonna blame the mother, but you don't know how the mother track it. Some of those people they track it, they don't even know. If you're a nurse, a doctor's in the hospital, you exposed to HIV, any type of disease. Some nurses stick themselves.
Yep.
And they track HIV. So you don't know if you are a nurse, if you are a medical assistant, if you are a phlebotomist, you expose every day. So it's not necessarily mean that you can only track it sexually, but it's not. Even in our culture back in the day, maybe now, but even though old generation might still think that way, you can track HIV by kissing somebody, but it's not. But I understand it's because of lack of education. And the church needs to be educated.
But I feel like it's not only lack of education. Sorry to interrupt. I think sometimes they know, but it's just they're too busy judging that they close their mind of even wanting to know exactly what happened. They don't even try to give the person a chance to even speak their truth of what's happened or how it happened or what's going on, because they're over here judging you or looking at you the wrong way. It's like sometimes they know.
That part of
they know they'll probably if it's one of their family member or somebody they know that's personal, they will know how to deal with it. They will know. But it's like they're just too busy judging people. Like they see you or because they don't know you mentally, they don't know you, they never met you, they never hang out with you, they never had a last moment with you. They automatically just judge you and they don't even take the time to think, okay, this is a human being. Let me understand. Let me see what's going on. That's what's wrong with the Haitian community. They don't have time to. If they don't know you, they don't have time for you. They don't have time to understand what's going on. It's not that they don't want to know. It's not that a lot of them know how to deal with it, but they just don't want to give you that chance because they don't feel like they should because they know you. They don't know you.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you guys are right. But just to go back what Stacy said. Stacy talking about something if I can remind myself, Stacy said something about the pastor don't want to talk about it, or if the pastor take any action or intervene, so if something happened, if the person decided to leave or whatever, they can blame it on the pastor, or they can say, oh, c'est pasteur qui fait me quitter mari, qui fait me quitter madame moi. But then again, still that have to do with lack of knowledge. C'est ça fait la parole de Dieu, ça petite moi a péri à cause de manque de connaissance. So petit li a mouri. Même pense que il faut éduquer tout. And a lot of time too, pasteur pas jamais dire because pasteur tout gen pasteur tout qui abusé. You gen pas physiquement abusé, gen pasteur capable abusé mari, capable abusé madame yo every day. Gens on parler, gens on traiter moun nan. Pas bouillir manger by moun nan, pas moun nan manger, pas laver moun nan.
They can't teach you something they don't know themselves.
Huh?
True. They can't teach something they don't know themselves.
Exactly. So you cannot teach something you don't know yourself, and you will be hypocrite to what you're preaching.
Yeah.
So I cannot talk about something that I have not tried to correct or I have not tried to exercise in my life. I can't. I might not there yet, but I'm trying it. Then I'm working on it. But you cannot talk about something that you have not tried. It's not like you asking to not abuse someone, but you have not stopped abusing your wife or your husband.
Right.
Mentally, verbally. And one of the worst things that happen in church is verbally. En pile moun qui habite l'église, Mario pas bat yo, ma parle moun l'église. But in general, it's physically, psychologically. But in l'église, c'est verbalement.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to start with us as a leader to teach us people. even the way j'en nous parler avec moun sa yo, j'en nous instruit moun yo, et puis pour moun sa yo capable gagner des exemples. Because gon côté dans Bible qui dit Malachie 2 verset 16, il dit Seigneur qui gagne tout pouvoir bon te peuple Israël là qui dit moi railler ouais moun capable agir mal comme ça avec madame yo, c'est peut-être ça fait respecter nous. Quelle promesse ou te fait avec madame ou avec mari ou? Son façon pour nous pas fatiguer tête Seigneur, c'est ça le dit dans verset 17. So oui, nous pas fatiguer tête bon Dieu, nous pas fatiguer tête l'Éternel avec Jean de paroles ça yo et puis n'a quitter qui Jean n'a fatigué. So if the word of God say it, why we not practice? Why we not practicing it? Why?
Humans will do what they want to do. Humans do what they want to do.
And then some people too, it's not like they don't want to practice this. It's the fact is the when they would probably try. Some people honestly would want to do that, would want to help others, but it's like I said, it's just again they think if you come and help them or tell them what it is, you think you all that.
Right.
True that.
You think you know better. You think you know more than us. You think you know more than me. Oh, I've been here. I had experience. Sometimes it's not even about how long you've been here. Sometimes it's not about the experience you have. Sometimes it's like it's okay. A lot of things about the Haitian community is doing, and it is not only even the Haitian community. I feel like it's all the island. It's not about how old you are. It's about sometimes you could be old as I don't know what, but someone young could still give you something that you never knew. Because that's why it's called every day you're learning something new.
Yeah.
But they don't want to learn something new. It's
right.
like, so now you're over here shutting down because you don't want to say anything because they're going to tell you what you think better because you know this, or you think you know more than me. You think you could tell me what to do. No, it's not even that. It's the fact that how can we teach each other if we're not willing to understand or try to even at least hear what we have to say.
Yep.
We can't teach you if we don't want to hear. If you think we all that because we're telling you there's different ways of doing this. And there's a lot of people they're scared of to say how they really feel because they feel like if they say something, automatically you're going to see them less of what they are. There's a lot of big people that they're killing themselves because why? They can't share what they're really going through emotionally, mentally, because once they see what's going on with them, boom.
Ooh, you tear down.
This person was all that. Oh, look at this person. It's like there's so much of that going on.
Sure.
I can.
Okay, let's go back. Abuse. Est-ce que son bagay qu'on moun apprend ou bien son bagay que moun fait avec ou bien
apprend?
I think it's something that's passed along. I think it's something that's passed along. Me, that's how I see it.
Yeah, that's
I think it's something.
I agree with Stacey. Abuse is something that you intentionally learned, okay? Et il y a des fois tout que it's your environment. Soulever ton côté tout journée c'est gourmet. You know, people fighting all the time. You raised in a home where there's always fighting, verbally, screaming. Of course, you going to get some of those things.
Yeah, because it become a natural thing.
It's become
because
a natural.
You was raised with it. You have so much people doing it. It becomes a natural thing. You don't even know when you abuse. Sometimes people don't even know they're being abused until someone walked and said, "You know, you're being abused." How do you feel like they ask you? Some people don't even know they've been in an abuse relationship for a long time because they think it's a normal thing.
Right.
Okay.
And you know another thing too. That's a good thing Marie said. Another thing too. It's also it falls back of mental too, because some people love that abuse. They don't know they're being abused.
Yes.
They think it's love.
Some people do. Let me tell you, some people they
think it's love.
Woo, some people have this fight and flight thing. You know how some people, if they're not in a relationship where they always fighting with someone, et puis, but maman dit encore pour me bien semblé dire. Non, gen moun ki si tellement amise yo, nan abuse, yo si tellement jouen désir yo, nan abuse, yo si tellement kon si gon bagay ki play yo nan abuse. Exactly. Parce que gen de moun, c'est pour toujours ap goumen, pour sentir, et puis là fin goumen, et puis pour jouen moun sa, vin approcher bon côté li.
Yeah, that
approché
tension.
par côté
And
et puis
yeah,
pour sentir
that's
que
when it
ou gon
becomes
l'amour.
natural to them because they was
Yeah.
raised with it. They saw their parents living
Yes.
that life. Their mom was being abused. Their dad or their,
And il pas
their
And
seulement
it's a
just
non.
keep
culture
going
thing
on
too.
and going on, and then
Just
too
like
now
now, what's in
you living
style?
like that.
Hein?
What's in style now? If you go on social media now, what's in style? Toxic relationship.
Toxic
If it ain't
relationship.
toxic, I don't want it.
I don't want
They
it.
Exactly.
they like
Because
that. That's what they be saying
yes.
online. If it ain't toxic, I don't want it. They want that. They want it.
When
And
on
that's
one
the
qui
truth.
abuse, yon one qui abuse. So you have to understand, abuse is not just again. M'a dit ça pour faire moun qui ka branché dans live là. Yon moun qui abuse pas simplement yon moun qui dans relation intime sexuellement ou bien yon partenaire, yon madame ak mari, yon boyfriend ou
It could be
girlfriend.
worse.
Li ka se parents, li ka se you know zanmi ka pa abuse parce que gen zanmi qui utilise même genre de tactique ça yo pour abuser on l'autre zanmi. Ou capable joindre des membres de l'église capable abuser pasteur yo ou bien pasteur pas abuser membre de l'église. Parce que faut qu'on capable comprendre ça tout, il pas seulement gain pour avec femme avec femme, garçon avec garçon parce que gain femme avec femme tout, gain garçon avec garçon faut nous dire ça, même là nous pas croire dans bagaille ça yo, nous pas ou comment ça me dit là, mais pas gain pour avec femme avec garçon, garçon avec garçon, femme avec femme non, il pas gain pour avec ça. But li ka arrive n'importe moun. Mais gen yon bagay, est-ce que abuser gen des fois li gagner anger? Est-ce que les moun nan son abuser li obligé manifester anger pour que moun sa son abuser?
No,
No,
not at all.
you don't have to be angry.
That person.
Someone that's abusive could be very manipulative, very cunning.
Yeah.
But they follow their own rules.
That's
The problem is
of abusing too.
Yon nan bagay nou besoin comprendre que abuser li même li suivre propre règle. That person follow their own rules. They have their own rules. They're not going to attack you in public. They're not going to do that. Abuser would never attack you in public. So where you abuser attack you publicly to verbally humiliate you or verbally to psychologically abuse or whatever, that person is not an abuser. That person is a dérespectant. Moun sa son moun ki mal élevé, et son moun ki pa gen des principes. Parce que abuseur pas agi dans société. Parce que yo gen propre rules yo pas attaquer parce qu'on pas jeune abuseur attaquer boss travail li. Okay, ou pas jeune ni attaquer moun dans la rue. No, they're not gonna attack their boss. They're not gonna attack people on the street. They're not gonna do that. No matter how angry they are, no matter how mad, upset they are, they're not going to do it in public. Parce que you get rules. They have a rules they follow, and they have to maintain that composure. But wait until you get behind the closed door, behind the curtain, then you're gonna see it.
Show your. That's true.
True, very true.
It's true.
Do you think guys most people would end relationship or a relationship if it's become abusive?
Sometimes they don't, especially in our Haitian culture. They like to stick around. It's you know, bon Dieu dit ça pa ou met marié but pa rete là. So this is a lot of things in Haitian culture and religious culture. This is one thing. Haitian people not only Haitian people, but women tend to think that because they have kids, they have to stay in a situation and get abused mentally, physically. And majority of women that stay in a relationship because they have kids, they don't want that be getting abused mentally. They always have some type of low self-esteem or something like that. It always, like, it has a pattern too of the abuse too. It has a pattern. Now there's a group of women that they're Christians, and then, you know, they do go by the rule where you cannot get married more than one time. So they decide to stay in that relationship because they want to be with someone and they take the abuse. But life is more than just marriage sometimes. Sometimes if you're in that situation,
because they think they can control. Because they think they can control. But here's the thing.
But just like that man you were talking about the last time I met up with you. What is his name? The guy that passed away. His name was Monroe. He says
Dr.
life
Miles
doesn't
Monroe?
end after one of his preaching. He's like, life doesn't end after a divorce. That doesn't mean that, you know, just because you get a divorce or you separate with the person that's abusing you, life ends. It doesn't end. A man don't make up a life. A woman don't make up a life.
But
A friend don't
Stacey,
make
you
up a
gotta
life. That
understand.
person doesn't.
Stacey, you gotta understand. You gotta understand that part is because especially people who are very spiritually, who are very spiritual. I'm not. Let me not use very people who are spiritual. People who are religion, because there's a difference between being religion and being spiritual. Let me use the word religion instead of spiritual because that play a big difference in that. You gotta understand people who are very religion. They think they can control because they are religion. They go to church. I'm not saying spiritual. They go to church, and when you religion, sometimes you think that you believe in God, that you have that faith, and because you have that faith, you think that you have the power to minimize or to control that person's behavior, and that's where they find themselves in
I see what you're saying. I see where you're going. Yep.
You see that? Okay, exactly. So
Yeah.
when you think that you go to church and you think that you have it all in your hand, okay, and you think you can minimize or you can control that person behavior, and then you find yourself stays in that relationship years and years and years, and a lot of time too that start with the choice that we make, because a lot of time we don't pay attention to the red flag in the beginning of the relationship. Because it doesn't matter how the abuser is,
Right.
there's something that's gonna pop, something, and it's gonna manifest more than once
Yep.
or twice.
Yep.
It will manifest once or twice, and we don't pay attention to those red flags. We don't pay attention. We kind of minimize them, and then when we find ourselves in fully operating in that relationship with this person, and we think because we go to church. I'm not talking about spiritually. I'm talking about people who religion and go to church and think that we can minimize and control those people, and that's why.
Religious. Yeah.
That's why they say on an average a woman will leave an abusive relationship 7 times. According to National Domestic Violence, they said on average a woman will leave an abusive relationship. Donc ça, non yon average yon fille a quitté yon relation abusée 7 fois avant vraiment quitter pour tout bon. So dans 7 fois ça ou ka gant arrivé 6 feet under depuis dans deuxième nan.
And that's true. No, but it's true. But that's true. But that's so true. And what you said about the red flag is so well. I love to use real life examples, especially because I'm a person I went through a lot. My first boyfriend I ever had, he was a Jamaican, and everybody knows Jamaicans are supposed to be quote unquote aggressive. So he gave me red flags. The first red flag, you know, I was 18 at that time. That was my first time I was able to date and stuff like that. And then he gave me red flags. The first red flag he gave me is he would snap on his mom, but he never snapped on me. But like on the phone, I'm on the phone. I'm hearing him yelling at his mom, and I was like, I'd be like, you yelling at your mom, but I was like, you never yell at me, so I'm cool. And one day,
and that's the biggest red flag right there.
I went to go see him, and I was by his house. That time he had his own house, and I went to go see him, and then we got into an argument. And then I was about to catch a bus to go back home. He slapped the coins out of my hands. He slapped the coins. And I was like, he just slapped the money out of my hand. And then not only that he slapped the coins out of my hand, he told me to bend down and pick it up. And I was like, okay. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do, so I bent down and picked up the coin. And I still stayed in the relationship. I still stayed. And I was like, maybe he had a bad day or something like that and stuff like that.
Like that.
And then we got one day we got kicked out of our house, and I had nowhere to go. And I was like, hey mom, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I live with my boyfriend right quick and stuff like that. And I went to go live with him. Not only that, he was possessive. I couldn't have no friends. I couldn't talk on the phone when I was living with him. And then it's like when I go to work and I come back home, he said that I want to go have sex. I went to work. He wanted to smell my body parts to see if they smell like sex. It's like I was such an abusive relationship, and I was like, whoa. And I had all the red flags. I had all the red flags, but I
And you
still
ignore
moved
them.
forward because I just wanted to be in a relationship because I
That
was
was the
that type of girl,
manipulative
you know,
part
like
of
I
him.
was that girl that was on lockdown, and everybody always talk about how they have their boyfriends, and I never had one, and I finally had one, and I'm like, I'm not letting this go, like, you know, I never had that experience all my friends ever talked about because my mom kept me so sheltered, like I couldn't do
But
anything.
okay, let me
I
ask you a
really had my freedom
question,
when I was
Stacy.
18, and that's a good thing because it prevented a lot of things from happening. But when I had my first boyfriend, I didn't want to let it go, even when he gave me the red flags.
But pose
So
question,
it's
Stacy.
I don't think it's only because of that. I think it's because he's good at what he's doing. Because that means he wasn't the first victim. He's good
So
at
he
oh
doing
was
it
no,
for
not
yeah,
only.
years.
Here's the
he
thing,
was.
He
I
Stacy.
was
wasn't.
good
I
at
wasn't.
Stacy,
I
Stacy,
wasn't. It's
Stacy.
he
later I
was good
found
at
out his girlfriend, like he sent her to the hospital and stuff
exactly.
like that.
He's
It's
good at
later
what
Stacy,
I
he's
found
good.
out about stuff like that. So
Stacy, let me ask you
it's
something. Let me ask you something. Because sometimes we have to make a difference. Because the person can be abusive and also narcissistic. And I think you were not just only dealing with an abuser, but he was also a narcissistic.
he was. He really
Okay.
was.
Because
Mm-hmm.
He
you
was.
have
He
to,
really was.
yes.
Yeah.
But
He
one thing,
was.
yes. So sometimes we only look at one criteria, but we don't look the other criteria. You gotta understand all the components that compose this person to be the person that person is. So, I got a question for you. Most men who abuse their partner grew up in a violent home. Was he grew up in a home where his mother or father was in abusive, or both of them were in an abusive relationship? Was he
He's
was he
adopted. He don't even know his family, so he had a rough background himself. So the lady that
Oh,
he was with was an elderly lady, and he was adopted, and he had a rough childhood in Jamaica. So yeah, he had some trauma. He had a lot of trauma actually.
yes. Okay. See?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's give some background because nous rentrons dans la live là et nous pas voulons déranger le de service de l'église. So nous connaissons des gens qui viennent pour l'église, so we don't want to stay for too long. But let's give some background about domestic violence. You fait connaître que 1 in 3 women experience intimate partner violence worldwide. So, and one in 3 women experience. So if you have 3 women, like 3 of us, one of us gonna be a victim. One of us going to experience. Dans chaque 3 filles dans le monde, ou ap jwen yon fille qui abuse. So wè nou 3 là, yon nan nou ap experience ou bien fait yon expérience de abuse quand même. Quel verbal, quel physique, quel psychologiquement, n'importe façon ou ap expérience. C'est ça yo fait connaître que you feel connect. You feel connect. 1 in 4 women experience intimate partner violence in the U.S. 1 in 4 women. Sous chaque fille, wap jwen, sous chaque 1 in 4, sous chaque 4, wap jwen yon fille qui expérience violence dans partnership. Ça veut dire yon moun partner, ça veut dire moun qui vivent ensemble, moun qui marié, moun qui place ensemble. C'est ça à parler, ok?
Mm-hmm.
Yo fait connaître encore, yo dit 1 in 9 men experience intimate. Yo fait connaître que yon ou abjen yon dans chaque 9 garçons qui ont expérience intimate partner. Ça veut dire garçon qui ne relation ou abjen. The reason I think it's more, parce que li plus que ça. Et pas dans chaque 9 garçons pour jeune yon seul qui a qui expose ou bien qui fait vie de expérience ça. Je pense que c'est parce que garçon yo pas vraiment reporter ça parce que les garçons c'est garçons liés garçon lié papa veut dire femme moi battre moi femme moi pas biser so li prend petit temps parce que garçon li toujours garder tête li vraiment supérieure li toujours garder tête li supérieurement so li traper que pour la dit que li son monde qui a pas biser li traper que li pas gagner ça crée the strength of a man the value of a man or the support of a man or the superior of a man. But I think it's more is because men don't think sometimes to report it. And I believe that this is what it is. I think we lost Stacy. They say 1 in 3 teens, chaque 3 teens, qui veut dire adolescent ou bien jeunesse, sous chaque 3 jeunesse, ou bien yo que yo expérience violence parce que jeune petit fille garçon de l'âge de 11 ans 12 ans comment ça fait boyfriend bagay moi même pas t'expériencer Unfortunately, pas d'espérer law like that. But anyway, it is what it
Mm-hmm.
is. Only 33% ever tell anyone. They say only 33% ever tell anyone. Gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender teen are just likely to experience it. Moun sa yo ki nan kategori sa tou, yo experience jan de bagay sa yo. Mwen nou pedi Stacy pour tout bon. So, nou pa rete trop sou Stacy, are you still there? Nou ta pal
No,
rentre kon.
she had to leave.
Huh?
Yeah, she had to go. She had to go take care of something. She actually sent you a message on the
Okay,
chat.
got it. Okay, so nou ta pal rentre. Okay, so just to let you guys go, ki jan de kalite ko kapap eseye identifiye nan yon bon relasyon. E nan nepot relasyon pou kapap chache genyen, identifiye pou kapap konen ke ou gon bon relasyon, faut qu'on capable identifier bon qualité ça yo. Côté tous les deux moun, both people are very comfortable. When you have a relationship that have good qualities, identify those three. So, respect, boundaries, communication, equality, and consent. Anytime you find yourself in a relationship, you don't have no respect, you don't have no boundaries, you don't have no communication, you don't have equality, you don't have consent. Just know you're on the road for domestic for some type of shape of domestic.
You're going down.
Exactly,
Yeah,
it's
you're
going
going
down. Unhealthy relationship. If you find, just like I said, disrespectful, boundaries ignore. When the person ignore your boundaries, you can talk about what you like or don't like, what you appreciate, what you don't appreciate, and the person constantly ignoring your feeling, your hurt, your pain. The person ignoring it, no trust, jealousy, yelling, ignoring, trying to take control, pressure you, coercion. Ooh, I'm trying to talk so fast. I'm sorry. Pressure you. Okay, so now you can see, you can identify that as unhealthy relationship. So again, for the purpose of power and control, physical violence, sexual violence, violence, emotional and verbal abuse, stalking. Stalking is part of abuse too. Economic abuse. Kote moun nan se li kap travay, se li kap paye tout bil yo, paske se li kap paye bil yo, li ka trete n'importe jan, li ka palavon n'importe jan, li ka ignore ou, l'el vle décide pou l'we ou nan kaban nan cham nan, l'el vle rentre nan seri de lè ou pa ka pose l question, pa ka dil, li ka décide leve, pran malet, li di ou la pal tel kote, li pa genyen. Yep, li pa dro ken explikasyon, ken compréhension, li juste leve, li pran valise, li malet, li la le, ou même se deal with it, lem tourne, se passe se mwen ka paye bila. Et ça fait m'pense que jan nou te leve, jan nou te chwen nou, garçon al travail, fi rete nan kay. Et m'pense c'est ça tout qui aide abusé, manifester jan rive nan pren kote rive ya. Parce que les filles ont côté tout, côté la travail pour tête, la ka débouiller pour tête pali, li pa gen côté garçon pas ka faire série de bagaille, mais ça va veut dire comme ça si ou travail ou faire comme garçon pas bat non. Même connait gen fille qui travaille qui fait de moyens qui fait cop pour cop mais garçon a c'était la vision pour qui raison because of self esteem, self value. Les moun n'a pas contre self esteem, il pas contre valeur de tête li pas contre qui moun li pas connaît ça représenter, li pas connaît objectif li dans la vie ou gen doit faire comme c'est vrai. Ou gen doit gen bon travail, c'est vrai dans business, but ou still pour comprendre qui moun ou ye pour ça bon Dieu créer ou. Il faut imaginer. So, genre de bagay ça ou pas connaît ou pas pratiquer dans la vie ou pas exercer dans la vie ou moun capable utiliser gen sou pour capable abuser. Et mais c'est là nous mettez foin dans parole qui relève domestic violence sans pas oublier. Mois octobre blanc c'est mois de domestic violence ou capable éduquer famille ou capable éduquer moun qui bon côté ou moun nan travail ou capable toujours éduquer moun zami ou lo pa mi zami ou lo nan gathering lo avec famille ou lo nan gathering social gathering ou capable toujours éduquer sacré les domestic violence mais faut qu'on capable prendre des appropriés accès qui approprié quand on pas faire moun fear ambush, ou pas faire moun nan feel like you just don't have no discipline, no principle, respect. So, c'est là nous mettons fin sous live là pour et je pense que nous avons retourné revisiter sacré abusant et d'autres sujets encore qui viennent pour avec vie sociale nous, vie familiale nous, vie spirituelle nous. Again, I see you guys next Sunday. Next Sunday, n'a gen un pasteur will d'Ecclésidor qui retourner back. N'a gen un frère Adam ensemble avec nous pour nous retourner, pour nous capables de dialoguer. Que bon Dieu bénisse nous, que bon Dieu passe ensemble avec nous, que bon Dieu couvre nous pour semaine ça, que nous passions une bonne semaine, qu'elle protège nous sur la machine dans le travail, dans toute activité sociale, familiale, nous, dans n'importe ça n'a entrepris dans semaine, que bon Dieu couvre nous et fait nous grâce. Nous souhaitons me rencontrer encore dimanche sur Dieu. Reste avec la paix. Bon Dieu bénisse.